The world around feels like a smartphone screen gone dark. Nothing brings joy, everything is gray, and inside, it's as if someone has turned off the light. Work, love, or just another day that seems determined to finish you off, it doesn't really matter. And so, instead of turning on something upbeat, you choose music that sounds like the soundtrack to your own private apocalypse. Lana Del Rey with her languid melancholy, Trent Reznor with his raw despair, or if you're among those who dig deeper, the violin lament of Arvo Part. Why? Why do we, as if spellbound, reach for melodies that tear at the soul when it's already in shreds? It's not about weakness. It's not about wallowing in suffering. It's a delicate play of the psyche, a cultural code and a philosophical maneuver, where sadness becomes not an enemy, but a guide. Let's unpack why we do this and what it reveals about human nature. When you feel awful, your brain rejects falsehood. No, everything will be fine, no forced cheer, no upbeat rhythms to drown out the ache. It seeks truth, resonance with what you actually feel. Melancholic music is like a mirror that doesn't lie. When you listen to exit music for a film by Radiohead, you hear the echo of your inner fracture, and suddenly your pain stops being yours alone. It's not just emotion, it's neurobiology. Studies, such as those conducted at the University of Southern California, show that melancholic melodies activate the prefrontal cortex and the limbic system, the regions responsible for reflection and empathy. You're not merely sad, you're analyzing yourself through another sorrow, turning chaos into structure. It's like a chess match with yourself. The music makes a move, and you respond, becoming aware of the pieces you have on the board. But let's not be naive. It's not just about catharsis. Philosophically speaking, we gravitate towards sad music because it gives us the illusion of control over chaos. Nietzsche would have smirked. In his terms, it's a Dionysian impulse, immersion in the primal chaos of emotion, but in the safe container of art. You're not screaming into a pillow or smashing furniture, you're listening to My Immortal, letting the music do the dirty work for you. It's as if you've hired a professional mourner for your private tragedy. And here's the irony. We often fool ourselves into thinking this is deep. Sometimes it's just inertia. It's easier to press play than to sit down and dissect why life feels like a junkyard. Culture adds its own sardonic twist. In an age where TikTok turns emotions into 15-second clips, sad music has become not merely a personal refuge, but a social marker. A video captioned "When you're in your sad girl era," set to "All I Want" by Kodaline, is not just a cry of the soul, it's a statement of identity. We curate our sadness like an art gallery, each track a painting, and we, the curators of our own melancholy. But here's the paradox. While we aestheticize pain, we risk getting trapped in it. Psychologists call this rumination, the endless chewing over of negativity, where music stops being a remedy and becomes an anchor. Think of those memes. My playlist knows me better than I know myself. Funny, yes, but with a bitter aftertaste. We sometimes use sad songs as an excuse not to move on. Now to the neurobiological twist, and it's a brutal one. Sad music is a dopamine hook. Yes, that very same pleasure chemical floods your brain when you listen to something mournful. It sounds like a cosmic joke, but that's how the brain works. It rewards you for the courage to face your pain. It's an evolutionary trick. Sadness signals a problem, and music helps you process it without breaking apart. But there's a dark side. Sometimes you don't solve the problem. You just get addicted to that dopamine hit, like a junkie returning to the needle. Schopenhauer would nod approvingly. Life is suffering, and art, including music, is a temporary anesthetic. But he'd also warn, don't mistake relief for resolution.
Let's bring this down to life itself. Say you've been left behind. You play Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor, and the tears start flowing. Why does it work? Because music is a safe space, a place where you can experience pain without having to explain it to friends who are tired of hearing about it anyway. It normalizes vulnerability, turning your private failure into a universal story. Or another case, you're stuck in traffic, the day's been hell, and then Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen comes on. Suddenly, your sorrow becomes part of something vast, almost sacred. But here's the trap. If you play it on repeat, you're not healing. You're building yourself a comfortable cage of melancholy. Culturally, we pour more fuel on the fire. In an era when Instagram demands eternal positivity, sad music is an act of rebellion. It says, I don't have to be happy. It echoes the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, for instance, who taught acceptance of life as it is, without embellishment. But let me add, Riley, we often confuse acceptance with indulgence. Listening to Creep for the millionth time isn't always mindfulness. Sometimes it's just laziness to get up and take a step forward. The existentialists, Camus among them, would smirk here. Life is absurd, and we try to give it meaning through rituals like playlists. But true freedom lies in stepping beyond them. A final metaphor. Sad music is like a compass in a storm. It won't lead you out of the tempest, but it will show you where you are. It helps you orient yourself in chaos, but it doesn't replace the map. Next time you hit play, ask yourself, is this a journey towards yourself or an escape from reality? And here's a hard truth from someone who's seen enough. Sometimes silence is the best soundtrack. It won't give you dopamine, but it will give you clarity. And that, my friends, is already half the victory. In the end, our attraction to sad music isn't weakness, it's strategy. It teaches empathy, gives voice to pain, and reminds us that we are part of something greater. But like any tool, it can harm if misused. So listen, feel, but remember to turn it off. Life isn't only in minor chords, and you know that.